Seltzer Kings.
Podcasts.
This episode is brought to you by Companion. Iris and Josh seem like the perfect match, but when a weekend getaway turns into a nightmare, Iris realizes that things aren't as perfect as they appear. From the creators of Barbarian and the studio that brought you The Notebook comes a twisted tale of modern romance and the sweet satisfaction of revenge. Companion, only in theaters January 31st. Rated R, under 17, not admitted without parent.
I used to sit there, at that table. It's not like my family met the minimum net worth requirement. My dad didn't own his own airline like John Enbaum's or serve as ambassador to Belgium like Shelley Pomeroy's. But my dad used to be the sheriff, and that had a certain cachet. Let's be honest, though. The only reason I was allowed past the velvet ropes was Duncan Kane, son of software billionaire Jake Kane. He used to be my boyfriend. Then one day, with no warning, he ended things. And let's not forget Logan Eccles. His dad makes $20 million a picture. You probably own his action figure. Every school has an obligatory psychotic jackass. He's ours.
Well, hello everybody. Hello. Welcome to the very first episode of Boys Watching Veronica Mars. We are just two boys watching every episode of Veronica Mars for the first time, giving our review, our reactions. We're your hosts. I am Joe Welke.
I am Vance.
And today we're talking about Season 1, Episode 1, titled Pilot. Directed by Mark Pisnarski, written by Rob Thomas, not the one that sings Smooth with Carlos Santana, everybody. I thought the same thing. The original release date was September 22nd, 2004, to an audience of 2.49 million people. And if you're new here, welcome to the Boys Watching Buffy universe. We are, what we do is we cover, cult classic TV shows or culturally relevant TV shows that we just completely missed out on for whatever reason. And we go episode by episode, break them down, give our reactions. We've done it with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We've done it with HBO's Girls. That was our first one. Then we moved to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Through that, we had an offshoot. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/boyswatchingbuffy, where we did Angel, the spin-off series of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. If you scroll back a little bit, you'll see that we've covered Firefly as well, another Joss Whedon series. We did the movie Serenity. And if you're interested in our movie reviews, we have another tier of our Patreon, Boys Watching Movies. We do a movie a month. And after much consideration about what we should be doing next, we finally settled on Veronica Mars. A lot of people said that it has kind of similar vibes as Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And we are both huge fans of Kristen Bell. So it'd be cool to see going back where she got her start kind of. And currently on our Patreon, to go alongside our watching of Veronica Mars, we are covering another Joss Whedon show called Dollhouse. So if you were a fan of that, starring one of the stars of Buffy the Vampire Slayer / Angel, she's in a couple episodes. We will be covering that on our Patreon. And also, if you are also another Joss Whedon head as well, we just did a movie review of Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog as the movie for the month. So that is who we are.
Yes.
I feel like I've been talking so much. Sorry.
No, that's it. You said it all. That's pretty much everything.
Trying to make it a little succinct so we're not just rambling so much up top.
Yeah, we are not a podcast that likes to have a lot of stuff up top, but it comes with the territory when you're doing the podcasting.
At this point, we have so many different irons in the fire with this.
Yeah.
For instance, another one is we have a Discord channel. If you are enjoying the podcast and you want to talk about it with us and other people that are listening, we have a Discord. The link is in the show description. And we have a lot of good time there. If you want to talk Veronica Mars, talk Buffy, talk Angel, talk Firefly, talk anything else, any of the movies that we've reviewed. Yes. We have channels for each of them and just general life stuff. We got people sharing recipes, gardening tips.
Yeah. Gardening tips popped up this week.
Yeah.
We also have a full spoiler chat because we have not seen the show, and we started the Discord so that we could interact with our listeners because we can't go on the forums, we can't go on the Reddits or anything without getting spoilers. So we have the Discord so we can talk about current episodes, but you can join the Discord and talk to people who have seen the full show in the spoiler chat. We won't see that. We never even go in there, even after the show's done. And you can just talk about us. You can talk about the show. You can do whatever in that thing. But be kind.
Yeah, I went into the Buffy full spoiler chat while ago.
Oh wow!
There's so much scrolling that I needed to do. I went back a couple. I was like, oh, I can't do this.
I will. That is just not even on my radar.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Is so we haven't seen Veronica Mars. Would appreciate the no spoilers. We try to avoid spoilers as much as possible because one of the things that we do usually at the end of each episode is predict what's going to happen in the next episode or predict where characters are going to go. And if we're right, don't tell us. If we're wrong, don't tell us. We are trying to avoid what's going on in the future episodes as much as possible to keep it fresh.
Yeah. Another thing.
Is there any?
There's some podcast lore that we should get into.
Yes.
One is we have an Amazon.
Watching.
The boys watching lore. One is that we have an Amazon wish list that you can purchase stuff that we put stuff up there. You can purchase stuff for us. It's do what you want, But sometimes we've asked for some things. Oddly enough, we get energy drinks.
Yes,
I don't remember how this started. I don't remember how this started, but we get energy drinks sent to us from the Amazon wish list, and we usually drink one during the podcast. Not all the time, but if you hear a can cracking open and us describing a Monster Energy drink, it's because of that.
Yep,
and
that's definitely a big part of the lore at this point.
Yeah. And another thing was I threw out there that I wanted a Nintendo Switch. I was like, you know what? Let's just go. We're making an Amazon wish list. Let's throw something big on there. And you had your, what did you have?
Yeah, I think originally it was the Oculus.
Oculus for you, but
I was joking about how I wanted an Oculus.
And I was joking about how I wanted a Nintendo Switch because I wanted to play that Zelda Breath of the Wild game. To just tell you how long ago it was, because they came out with a sequel for that. And now they're coming out with a Nintendo Switch too.
Yes.
But I want to announce here, proud to say, that I did get a Nintendo Switch.
Vance finally got it.
From our Discord listener, I'm BTVS and you are. Thank you.
Yes. That was a big thing when we were winding down Buffy and we're talking about what show are we going to do next. I'm BTVS and you are said, if you do Veronica Mars, I will get you a Switch, Vance. And that person held up their end of the bargain.
They held up their end of the bargain. I was not going to hold them to it. I was not. We're not those people. I wasn't going to hold them to a random statement said on Discord months and months ago. But they came through. And we did not pick this show because of that. I think we had already were leaning to picking this before that. So just know if you had said a different show and offered the Switch, it's not like we would have done Supernatural or Charmed or Gilmore Girls just because of the Switch
shout out.
Yeah.
Yeah. For example, one of the shows that was being heavily bandied about in the Discord was Gilmore Girls by our boy Holy Fat Fish. And Holy Fat Fish is still banging that drum of Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
Want to shout you out, Holy Fat Fish, because another piece of the podcast lore is during our Firefly run through. Halfway through it, I just started singing songs to the tune of the Firefly's theme song that were written by our Discord members. Holy Fat Fish wrote an excellent song. We're not doing the songs anymore.
But it was a great crossover. It was a great crossover from Firefly to Veronica Mars. So we want to shout you out, Holy Fat Fish, for that.
Yeah.
You know.
And apologize, but not really, for not doing Gilmore Girls.
Yeah. And there's a ton of movies on Patreon. So if you want to check it out, and there's some movies on the feed that have been released from Patreon. I think I Know What You Did Last Summer has been released. Cruel Intentions. Yeah.
I mean, we did the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie.
Original movie, unaired pilot. So this is on that feed. So you're on that feed. You can check out Firefly, Buffy. Yeah.
There we go. Okay. With all of that out of the way, me trying to be succinct and not have the rambling up top, I'm going to crack open this energy drink. I got the Monster Guava, baby.
I do too. Look at that.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Simpatico. That means it's going to be a good podcast.
Yeah.
So, obviously, Vance and I have never seen Veronica Mars. I knew of it, never watched it for whatever reason. People seem to enjoy it. This is our first exposure to the show.
Yeah. I've never seen anything from it. Like, not at all. Vaguely kind of have an idea about what it was about, but otherwise, like, that's it. I just know the poster with her feet up and her looking at the camera, like looking at us. Yeah. That's the only thing I know about the show and the name.
Yeah. So we get this pilot, and what we do here, we go scene by scene for Veronica Mars, our main feed attraction. Things are a little different on Patreon, which is always a good time. Yeah, that's when the energy drinks kick in. Yes, exactly. So this episode opens up with Veronica giving us a pretty decently good explanation of the setting, where we're at, what we're doing. She's talking about her school. They're in Neptune, California. Everybody that goes to this high school, their parents are either millionaires or you work for the millionaires. And, it's a classic tale of two cities going on in Veronica Mars's high school. And we pan over to see that there is a kid just tied to a pole with the word snitch painted on his chest. I'm happy it's snitch and not anything else. Right? Right? What are we doing? Yeah. And this kid's tied to the pole and everyone's like laughing. Like there's just a crowd surrounding this kid. And people are taking selfies with their 2004 cell phones with this kid. Yeah. And Veronica Mars sees this going down and she doesn't stand for this. She whips out a little knife and she cuts down this guy. And everyone's like, boo, there goes our fun for the day. She pulls it out to cut the guy down, and another dude who's taking pictures goes, ugh, no wonder you're such a freak, Veronica Mars. I was like, because she has a switchblade and she's going to cut a kid down. This is before we find out the whole history of her, but yeah, this is we find out a interesting. Lot. I texted Vance after watching this, and I was like, there is a lot going on in this. How far from Sunnydale do you think Neptune is? It can't like be that far because, like a town over, bro. Everybody is so fucking toxic. Yeah, oh my god, dude. That's the challenge. Which one's worse? The guys in Sunnydale High School or this one? I mean, we've got a bevy of evidence for Sunnydale, but this is already like, Jesus. Like just outwardly horrendous people. And they don't even have the excuse of there being a hellmouth underneath of their school or anything that's influencing their behaviors with demonic energies like in Buffy. Like this is just people. Yeah. So far. I mean, I don't know what goes on. Man, this like late 90s, early 2000s vibe, it's just, yeah. So then we go to a class and Veronica Mars is sleeping in the class and and the teacher's lecturing about something, and she calls upon Veronica, and Veronica just kind of like lifts her head up in a little nap-like stupor, and she answers the question perfectly and then goes right back to sleep. And then Veronica is explaining that, yeah, throughout the school, there are these quote unquote like random locker searches, but everybody knows they're not random. It's to look out for drugs and to see who's got weed or something in their lockers. And Veronica is subjected to this random locker search today. And the principal's there with a couple like security guards or cops or whatever. And they open up her locker and she's got absolutely nothing in it except for a picture of the principal with like a heart around it. And she's like, oh, geez, this is so embarrassing.
Yeah, that's very funny.
It was great.
Yeah.
Veronica's snarky as hell, dude.
Yeah. We did something like that in Spanish class once. We were passing notes around, knowing that the teacher would find it and like go and read it. But the note was just like something complimentary about the teacher. So she got it and then like read it and like couldn't be mad.
She's like, this is nice, but stop passing notes.
I didn't learn a lot in Spanish class.
Yeah. So then we go to the next scene, and this is where we get a lot of backstory about Veronica Mars. Not as much as later on, but we get quite a bit. So Veronica Mars is sitting alone at lunch at the table, and she looks across the little quad, and she sees a table of all these popular, quote unquote, popular kids. And she's like, I used to be a part of those kids. I used to sit at that table because that guy right there, Duncan, he used to be my boyfriend. And I was hanging out with all of his friends and I was one of the popular kids. And then randomly one day he dumped me. And he's friends with this guy, Logan Eccles. And Logan Eccles is just an absolute psychopath.
Absolute monster. Just, yeah. He needs to
that's
stopped.
how she describes him in this scene. She's like, every school's got their psychopath, and that's Logan Eccles. And I was like, is it really just him? Based on
right.
So, and she talks about, I used to be part of the kids, and then something happened, and then now I'm not. I'm ostracized from society at school. So then the kid that Veronica Mars cut down, he comes in and sits with her. And he's like, hey, mind if I sit here? And she's like, yeah, whatever. You can, sure, whatever, sit with me. And this kid's name is Wallace, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then a Latino high school biker gang member named Weevil comes over.
Yeah, I was confused by if he was in the school.
I think he is.
He goes to the school.
I think he does.
But it's a school full of like rich kids. Because she says is this where she mentions that her dad used to be the sheriff and that's why she goes to the school?
Yeah.
But she's not like rich.
Yeah.
But why? But this biker gang guy's family's rich?
I guess.
Okay.
But he shows up, Weevil. He shows up to bully this Wallace. And he's like, oh, you're a dead man walking. You snitched on us and blah, blah, blah. Then he starts bragging about how big his dick is. And Veronica Mars is like, well, then whip it out. And the guy's like, what? She's like, yeah, if your dick is so big, let me see it. Maybe I'll be impressed by it. And like, maybe I'll ask to be your girlfriend, take you to prom or something. And then he starts kind of stalling. And then another one of Weevil's little cronies is like, oh, fuck, I'll show you my dick. And the principal shows up. He's like, what the hell is happening?
He's like, Mars, what are you doing again now? Like classic. Why does trouble follow you around? I'm like, you think she's the problem?
Yeah. Yeah.
Again,
you have a literal biker gang in your high school, bro.
There was a dude duct taped to the flagpole. But again, we haven't learned her full backstory and her status in the town yet.
Yeah. Not yet, anyway. I'm sure more will unfold as the series comes on, but we get a lot of information this episode.
Yeah.
But after the biker gang leaves, Veronica asks Wallace, like, why is this guy bullying you? And then Wallace tells the story of why. And it's because he works at like a convenience store / like liquor store or something. And the biker gang came in and they were like stealing from his store. He hit the silent alarm to alert the cops. And the kids, they go up and basically brag in Wallace's face that they're stealing. And there's like, they give him $1 and like, that should cover it, right? And Wallace is like, okay, yeah, sure. So then the cops show up, or the sheriff, because this town is not big enough for police. They got a sheriff. They got a sheriff's department. Sheriff shows up. They are like, they got the kids in handcuffs in the biker gang that like kind of stole from the store. And this sheriff comes up to Wallace and he's like, these kids said that they paid. Did they pay? And Wallace looks and he sees like a horde of like 15 bikers.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I guess they did pay. And then the cop or the sheriff is like, then why the fuck did you hit the silent alarm, you piece of shit? And Wallace is like, I guess I did it by accident. He's like, God, you're such a little bitch. You know what? You need to go see the wizard. Get you some guts.
Now, I'm not doing, on Patreon, I do a segment called Quote Unquote. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to port that over to this just yet or anything. But when I heard this line,
what if the people wanted it, Vance?
Person wanted it.
Yeah, one person at least.
When I heard this line from this cop, I just instantly wrote my notes, unquote. Him leaning up, being like, you need to go see the wizard. Ask him for some guts. I'm like, you know what doesn't make you sound like a tough guy is quoting Wizard of Oz. He's watching a Wicked musical. Just, dude. And it comes back. And it comes back.
Yeah, dude. When he leaned into Wallace's face,
yeah,
and he goes, you need to see the wizard.
Right.
There's like a long pause too. Right. I was like, where the fuck is this going?
I'm like, who's the wizard? It's going to be like some other guy, like the gang leader's like nickname or something.
No, it just says, go and get some guts. I was like, oh, no. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, he hit the silent alarm, not the loud alarm. I can't believe he even did that too. I would have just let him take the 40s.
Yeah. Yeah, but Wallace is an upstanding gentleman.
They go to school with him? Like, is he new to the school?
I guess. It seems like Wallace is new to the school because he doesn't know anything about Veronica Mars. It seems like everybody knows everything about Veronica Mars.
Is he new to town? What grade are they in? I have a couple questions now.
I mean, I'm sure it'll get explained. I would assume that Wallace is new to the school.
Did he?
Maybe
okay, so
freshmen?
the town is small.
Oh, no.
The town is small.
They can't be freshmen.
The town is small. I would assume they have at most 2 high schools.
Okay, here we go. This is the junior year
mm-hmm.
of high school, and Wallace is a new student.
Okay.
There you go.
So he moved to. Is he new to town though? Because he has a job already there.
Yeah.
Why is? Sure. Yeah. What does he? Seems like it's small enough that you would know those guys are a part of a biker gang if you lived in the town, but if you are new to the town, you like got there and you got the job before you went to school.
I mean, I don't know. Say you moved there in late June, early July.
Yeah, I guess if it's in the summer.
You got a couple months to get a summer job or something.
Is this the first day of school, I guess?
Yeah, this is the first day of junior year.
All right, fair enough. He had the summer job carrying over into the fall. Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but yeah, dude, when that cop leaned in, you need to see the wizard. I was like, okay, all right, who's the wizard?
Yeah.
Get some guts. Oh, that way. Oh, okay. So then we have Veronica Mars going to her home, I think, and she has a flashback. She's imagining like an old birthday party that she had with her mom, and Veronica Mars goes home and she starts petting her dog.
Her her boyfriend is in the pool, and it's a nice switch up from the classic, like the girl coming out of the pool with her hair back, but it's him coming up.
Duncan, baby.
It's so funny. It's like, the love of my life, Duncan. And I was coming home, and my mom had a cake, and all of her friends were there.
Yep. Good times. But then her fantasy is interrupted by her neighbors like, Veronica, come and help me.
Did you think we were going to get a scene with the neighbor?
I thought so. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
I thought that she was going to be a vital character.
Yeah. Someone like an ear that she runs.
Nope.
Yeah.
She goes and she pets her dog. She takes her dog to the beach and she's playing fetch with the dog. And who's at the beach but Wallace? And he's flying his little remote control plane. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, yeah, this guy deserves to get bullied. It is fucking dark.
I bet you he never has a remote control plane ever again in the series. I bet you. I feel like it's such a plot thing for this.
Dude, I don't know. I feel like he's going to turn into like some kind of tech genius.
Maybe.
Based on what we see in this episode, he's going to be her like Q or M or whatever in James
Q,
Bond,
I
the
believe
tech
it's
person.
Q, it's weird to see. And he's like waving at her and flying his remote control plane. I was like 2004 remote control planes. All right.
Yeah, that was
all
not,
right.
That was not jump off in 2004.
Well, we were on the East Coast. We weren't beachside, you know.
That's true. That's true. We didn't know what was going on in California. But yeah. So Veronica sees Wallace and she's like, all right, I guess I'll wave back at him, but I don't really want to be that good of friends with this guy yet. So then she goes to her dad's office. And who is at her dad's office but a woman named Celeste Kane? She sees her car at her dad's office. She's like, I wonder what Celeste Kane's doing here. That is my boyfriend's mom. Ex-boyfriend's mom. And she's nothing but trouble. So I know that if she's here, something's up. But before she can go see her dad, another dude shows up. I never got a name for this guy.
I just called him lawyer.
Yeah. He comes in and he's like, well, I've got a file for your dad to look over. Wink, wink, Veronica Mars. Client was charged with vandalism. Said that like this place, they get their liquor license in some kind of seedy way. But don't look at it, Veronica, wink, wink. I don't know. Maybe I'll just leave it here open. And then somebody looks at it. There's nothing I can do to stop it. Wink, wink. So I'm going to head out. And I was like, okay, I like this guy. And this guy has such a voice. I feel like I've seen him in other things. His voice sounds familiar. He has a presence, but I don't know what he's from. Did he look familiar to you?
No.
Or sound familiar?
No.
Fuck. You're usually the one that like knows that kind of shit.
Well, what I did know is that when we see Veronica Mars' dad, I recognized him from Just Shoot Me.
Yes, same.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, so that's what he was in before Just Shoot Me or whenever Just Shoot Me was on. This. I think was it before this? It probably was.
Definitely, because that was with David Spade and Wendy Malick. And
Wendy Malick's been in so much stuff.
Dude, Wendy Malick is awesome. She is hilarious.
Yeah.
This guy's name is Enrico Colatoni.
Yeah. So yeah, he was in Just Shoot Me that came out like in the 90s.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's what he did after this. So I was like, oh, go for him.
Yeah. No, I saw him. I was like, oh, I like that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Celeste Kane comes out of her dad's office. Her dad's name is Keith. And she's like, don't go. I don't like dealing with you Mars people. You're a bunch of fucking seedy people, but I need your help for this. And then this is where Veronica reveals that Celeste doesn't like the Mars family because Keith tried to put Celeste's husband in jail for life. Now, we don't know what for yet. But I was like, oh, okay, man, this town is really fucked up.
and small, but somehow big enough that he can run a private investigation company in a place where everyone hates his name.
Yep. There are a couple people that are still loyal to him.
Yeah, but it seems like that wouldn't be enough for you to have a business based on people coming to you for help.
Yeah.
It's just a little, I just couldn't buy. I also don't buy that she would ever come to him.
Me neither.
They are a billionaire family.
Yeah.
You can hire another private investigator from Los Angeles, from anywhere. Yeah. Pay him, put him up in a hotel, and just say, hey, stalk this guy. You do not go to the guy who tried to put your husband away for
life.
For life. You don't go to that person and then say, hey, I want you to follow them to see if they're cheating on me.
Yeah.
Unless you're trying to frame the sheriff.
Yeah.
The ex-sheriff. That's the only way. You would never... You go like, I know you don't like my husband. You think he's guilty of something. You mind following him around to see if he's guilty of something else?
Yeah.
Yeah, unless there's a little twist here. I mean, there's kind of a twist a little bit, but...
There's twists.
It's twists, but it's a hurdle for me a logic hurdle for me to think that she would ever go into that office to ask him to do this.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what the next scene is about, is like Keith and Veronica are eating dinner, and Veronica wants to talk about her case, and she's basically suspecting her husband of cheating on her, and she wanted Keith to like get to the bottom of it. But Keith gets a phone call in the middle of this dinner about some other case that he's working on, about somebody who's trying to like skip the border. And he's like, I gotta go down to San Diego. Would you Veronica, don't do anything with the Kane case, wink, wink. But if you do bring backup, wink, wink. He's going to be gone for a day or two, he says.
He's like, don't worry about me. I'm not going to interfere with this case. You handle it. My high school age daughter.
I love that everyone goes to Veronica like, don't do this, wink, wink. But if you do and you find something out, I won't be mad.
I did not know that the show would be her literally working at a private investigation place with her dad. I thought it was going to be high school. Like she just solves high school level things that get really dark. I didn't know it was going to be like, I didn't know she was going to be like her and her dad are a pseudo team of private investigators.
Yeah. So much a pseudo team that like other lawyers know about her propensity. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Her
acumen, her investigative acumen.
The energy drinks are not kicking in yet, people.
Talking is hard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So anyway.
Yeah, it's interesting that she's not liked in the town. I think if some people didn't like her because she like solved case, like she rubbed certain people the wrong way because she got one over on them and they tried to scam something and she figured it out, then it's cool that she has some enemies. But it's weird for her to have all enemies.
Well, to your point, like this next scene is Veronica, she's following Jake Kane from his office, and she's giving more backstory to the audience about how like Jake Kane's daughter, Lily, used to be her best friend. And that's Amanda Seyfried, who you might know from Mean Girls as the really ditzy one. I forget her name in Mean Girls, but she was great in that movie. She's in a bunch of other stuff too, but that's what I know her from. But she used to be best friends with Lily, and they were doing like some kind of car wash. And she was like, and that's the last words I ever spoke to her, because there was a disturbance at the Kane estate that night. And Veronica and her dad, who was still the sheriff at this time, go to investigate it. And Veronica's like, my dad told me to stay in the car, but then I saw my boyfriend at the time, Duncan, and he was just kind of catatonic. She goes to talk to him. She's like, what happened, Duncan? What's going on? What's going on here? And Duncan's not saying anything. And Veronica's like, well, where's Lily? What's going on? Turns out Lily was murdered. She's seen dead by the pool. Keith is investigating it, and Veronica's like, and she's like, oh no, I can't believe my best friend is dead. But this is how Keith became known as the bungling sheriff who went after the wrong man.
Now, there's a couple things here. Amanda Seyfried being in this made me go, oh, she's dead?
Mm-hmm.
She's really dead? Like,
I'm sure she's going to show up in like flashbacks some more.
Interesting, because I was like, oh, she's going to be around, at least like you expect her to die at the end of the episode or something. It's such a big, not even a big name, but she's bigger than Kristen Bell at this point, maybe.
Yeah, when did Mean Girls come out?
It came out like in 2004-ish or so. Or is that,
yeah, that's
when is this? Like,
so maybe she's not anybody.
Yeah. Maybe this is right before. When did Mean Girls come out? 2004. Yeah. When did this come out? 2004?
2004.
Okay. So maybe it's just we know her.
Blown up yet.
Yeah. They just we need a blonde. We need another one. We need another blonde. But I wanted to bring up this. We can't skip over Veronica Mars getting out of the car in those Ugg boots and short shorts to go talk to Duncan. I know the fashion corner is your thing, Joe, but sometimes I see something that I just gotta say.
I mean, that's 2004.
It is so 2004. It is so California based too.
Mm-hmm.
Like those shorts are so tiny, and she's just got
people were telling me that like there's going to be some fashion corner moments in this show, and yeah, like that lawyer's like suit. Yep, his little double-breasted wide lapel.
Yeah, but when she got out of that car, I was like, that is because I was like, oh, is that just her put that pajama like middle of the night had to get up kind of thing? Yeah, and she is tiny. Kristen Bell is so tiny. When she was on the beach, I was like, she is a small person.
I feel like they try to make her look bigger because they have her in like layers of like long sleeves and then a jacket and stuff. But when you see her run out of that car with those shorts, you really get a sense of how small she is.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the same thing with Sarah Michelle Gellar and Buffy. Like Sarah Michelle Gellar is a small human being.
Yeah. I wanted to say Kristen Bell is shorter.
I mean, she might be. Kristen Bell is excellent, though. Like, she is very petite, I would say. But to your earlier point, this is how Keith Mars kind of becomes infamous in this town. And they kind of make it seem like this was national news because, obviously as the daughter of a billionaire, of course that would get reported on. Because the Jake Kane founded a company that like created streaming video or something like that. That's the story in the movie or in the show. And yeah, his daughter being murdered, that would be a big case. And if Keith Mars is like fucking up, that would bring a lot of like, oh no.
He's not so much fucking up as he's sure that the dad did it.
Yeah, he's certain that Jake Kane killed his daughter.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
They don't.
We haven't heard about the motive or anything yet.
He's like, I know he did it.
But Keith shows up and he's like, Jake Kane, I fucking know it's you.
Yeah. It's interesting that he's like, the dad did it, not the brother did it. Like, there's no, I get what they're going for. We'll find, it'll unravel as the show goes on. But they don't really give us a lot of anything to really say who did what.
Yeah, there's no breadcrumbs yet that we can follow. We just know that Keith went after the dad, and it was like, oh, he went after the wrong man, quote unquote, wrong man. So we go back into present day, and Veronica's following Jake Kane to a seedy motel. And then we have another flashback to some kid leaked Lily Kane's crime scene video to the internet, and it goes viral. And this just ostracizes Veronica even more. And like Logan Echolls is there, and I don't know what fucking accent Logan Echolls has.
he sounds so different here.
Yeah,
this is his accent of sadness. This is his I'm sad accent.
Dude, he's talking to her like he's a a mobster from New Jersey. He's like, is this what you fucking wanted? Are you happy? Are you real happy you did this? That was your best friend. That was your boyfriend's sister. Why is your dad doing this?
Why is your family trying to ruin this? Why is your family ruining the family?
But after this scandal, there was some kind of election recall, and Keith was ousted from his job as the sheriff. Keith's wife left him. She couldn't take the infamy.
What? I had a thought. What does she do?
Oh,
the
Veronica's
wife?
mom?
Yeah, because he's just the sheriff of the town, right? Like, so he's not like, you're not rich,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And she's like, oh, she couldn't take the status hit of this. And I'm like, sure, I get it. This is my feeling after watching Making a Murderer, that Netflix show. If you do something crazy in a small town and you don't really have that many ties there, like I don't think they have any extended family living there, bounce. You do not need, like if you go to Santa Barbara, how much different is your life, right? Like, get out of that place. Those people will hate you. They will do everything they can to take you down. It's corrupt, obviously. Like they recalled the election to get rid of the sheriff that was investigating the crime.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like get out. Just get out.
Yeah, you don't need to be in Neptune.
No. And why did Veronica Mars say in her voiceover when the death footage leaked? She says someone made a fortune off of this. Is that going to come back to be like this is how the billionaire helped pump up his stream? Because he was already rich. But
yeah, I mean, maybe it was like the body cam footage, like the cop that leaked the body cam footage.
But why would
money?
Yeah, someone made a fortune off of this. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's on the internet. It's not like it's like.
Yeah, and this is 2004 internet where it wasn't like sponsored ads. Like this murder video is brought to you by HelloFresh. Like,
it's not like TMZ just spent $1.5 million for this leaked footage of
this exclusive.
Yeah. It was just an interesting line that got said. I was like, I wonder how the monetary exchange works for that.
But the big thing that kind of makes Keith infamous here is why he was like dragged after going after Jake Kane for the murder is that a guy named something Kuntz, he confessed to the murder. And it's just like, oh, shit. So it wasn't Jake Kane. Keith
I don't
was
think he confessed to the murder. I think they found him. He was like fired from the company and they found him on like a boat or something. And he had something. He had
her shoes or something in his bag.
Which I didn't understand necessarily. Yeah. I was like, okay, so they just framed a guy. That's what my note said. But, but this is after like we see Keith. Interesting name. I didn't know the dad's name was Keith. Keith going over to Veronica Mars, who's like watching the news when this happens, after he just got in like a shouting match with his wife, who's like packing up, it looks like.
Yeah. He's like, no, I know that Jake did it. And then they turn on the news and the guy's like, this guy just got arrested for the murder. And then Keith turns it off. He's like, shut up.
You know what I'm going to do?
I'm going to be watching that.
I'm going to start a private investigation company here. That'll work. Everyone will come. Business will be booming because the cop that botched the biggest case he ever had, that's what I want running my private investigation. There's a gap in the premise.
Yeah, that's fine. But then we go back to Veronica staking out Jake at the seedy motel. And while she's doing this, the biker gang shows up. And they're like, well, what do we got here? And Weevil gets out of the car or off of his motorcycle, and he's going up to Veronica Mars's car, and he's about to start bullying her. And then one of his other cronies gets closer. And then Veronica calls for backup. And backup is the name of her dog. Mm-hmm. And the dog starts attacking one of the guys, the biker guys, and Veronica Mars tases another one of them. Mm-hmm. She's just doing this very nonchalantly, like she's just like sitting in her fucking convertible with her arm up on the on the door.
I'm so afraid for her. Like,
yes.
The one thing we had when we were watching Buffy is that Buffy had superpowers and was super strong. Mm-hmm. So you knew she could like punch her way out of this. I'm just worried about 5'1" Kristen Bell versus 5'4" Sarah Michelle Gellar. Just, she has a taser. They're a bunch of people. They're like a gang.
Yeah, like a legit, like 10 to 15 of them.
Yeah.
Nuts, man. But Veronica's like threatening them. She's like, you're going to leave Wallace alone. And they're like, why the fuck would we do that? She's like, oh, you will. And they're like, okay. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, and they definitely throw the slurs, the not crossing over to can't say them on TV slurs around.
Mm-hmm.
There's some more later, but like Weevil calls Wallace a skinny Negro, and I'm like, well, okay, okay, like,
yep,
yeah,
and this is where Weevil, we start to get some more Veronica backstory. Weevil's like, why do you care so much about this kid? What is he, your boyfriend? We all know how you roll, Veronica Mars. And I was like, uh-oh. And then we get a flashback.
Well, this almost unseated the original unquote. Because this flashback is triggered. And I use triggered in the right way. He goes, like, because Weevil keeps making like sexual innuendo to her. He's like, I love you long time or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes away. And then Veronica Mars is staring out of her window, and we get the VO. Do you want to know how I lost my virginity? So do I.
Yep.
And I was like, oh no. Oh no. I was like, no.
Yep. As soon as she said that, I was like, this is bad news. Hasn't enough gone wrong for Veronica Mars already?
Can't we like ease ourselves into this? God.
Nope.
Oh boy.
So we get a flashback to Veronica Mars being like, I was at a party. This was after, I guess, all of the scandal with her dad, because she's like, I was feeling judged, but I like wanted to go to the party. I wanted to show like, I'm not scared of these motherfuckers. Like, I'm still fine. I still have friends, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And she shows up to the party and everyone's like doing the thing that they do in movies where they turn around and they snicker at her and they like put their hands up and they're like whispering it to each other. Like, oh my God, there goes Veronica Mars. Blah, 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 blah.
I can't believe the one girl in the small town showed up to the one party in the small town.
So Veronica goes, well, I was walking my way through the party and I don't know how I got this drink, but I started drinking it. And what was in it was alcohol and roofie.
It's like rum, Coke, and roofie or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's wandered around and she starts having like double vision. She lays down by the pool and she just falls asleep. And then she wakes up in a bed with no panties. She's got her dress on still, but she's got no panties because they're on the floor. She starts crying. She's walking home. She says she never told her dad about it because she wouldn't want him to worry about her. And besides, she wasn't that girl anymore.
Yeah, this is a lot.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's the case. That's the case I'm working on the rest. Fuck all these other little side cases. If I'm Veronica Mars, that's the case I'm getting to the bottom of.
Well, dude, it's also like Weevil knows about this. Like it's such a fucking crazy town that Veronica Mars is getting bullied for getting roofied and assaulted. And they're like, yeah, you're a slut. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's the thing that makes it tricky, is that why does Weevil even, like, who knows? If you're Veronica Mars, who's an investigator, and Weevil heard something about this, then someone had to tell someone had to know. I mean, someone at the party did it and also knows that it happened. So someone had to say that to someone else. So yeah, It's not in a It's not like in a vacuum. It's like people know there's some eyewitnesses. You need to get to the bottom of this. Right now, I don't care about what the other guy, this billionaire's cheating or whatever. Like, I want to get to the bottom of this thing right here. This is like a side story. Like, oh yeah, that happened. Don't worry, it's just part of who I am. And like, I'm like, no, that's it.
It's like what? Like, how do you not? How have you not taken out your big fucking zoom lens camera and taken pictures of that person?
Yeah,
like, God damn, dude. Like,
it's so heavy. When she grabbed the drink and just started drinking it, it felt like again, not victim blaming, but you walked to a party knowing that everyone hated you and you got handed a drink and you didn't know from where and you just started chugging it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess this is before she became like the smart detective person, which would have been within 8 months of this, probably. Are we going from sophomore to junior year?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's not a long gap.
Timeline. Yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean, I was just like, gee, like, how do you not get to the bottom of that?
Like, that's the only thing I'm working on. I don't care if this. She also has a friend that was killed that we don't have. It's a lot because the friend is killed.
That's what I'm saying, dude. There's so much happening.
But it starts out like my boy. Didn't she say her boyfriend broke up with her and she's not sure why? She's like,
yeah, she says randomly one day.
Did he break up with her before the sheriff thing? Because I can't tell when she broke up with that guy.
Yeah, I mean, if he broke up with her post the sheriff going after the wrong guy, it's like, I mean, it's pretty obvious why he broke up. It's not randomly one day.
I'm questioning how good of an investigator she is. She's like, I can't figure out why he doesn't like me anymore. But I don't know the timeline.
It just blows my mind that, I mean, they make it seem like Veronica Mars is like had sex with like a load of people.
Well, that's just like high school awfulness that happens.
Yeah, I guess.
It's just,
but like,
yeah,
dude, I don't know.
But maybe I don't know why
that, like, maybe they don't know that the roofies happened.
Maybe the rumors like, oh yeah, they probably blew it up.
Yeah, you know what? I would. Yeah, these fucking psychopaths, they would make up a bunch of shit about. Yeah.
It's that is the most. That's the thing I like completely get. But if I'm her, I am on a war path of like, I'm not going to school and being snarky and looking at that table fondly. I am looking at everyone in the eyes. I mean, like, is it you? Is it you? Yeah.
But then we go back to present, and Veronica Mars sees Jake Kane leaving the seedy motel room, and she takes out her Nikon with her long zoom lens, and she's like, taking pictures is my hobby. Snapping some pics of Jake Kane with the lady's hand on the door. Never see the lady, see her hand.
It was weird because I thought we were going to see the lady in the next shot because we go to commercial right here.
Mm-hmm.
Because it like freeze frames a little bit. The interesting camera work in this episode, I have to say, like the classroom where it was like over the top going down following the teacher.
There's some like wide angle stuff.
Yeah.
I will say I don't like the slow fade to black to get the commercials.
Ever met a foundation that does it all? Say hi to NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. Makeup meets skincare in a bottle. It evens skin tone, blurs imperfections, and has a natural radiant finish. Plus, it's formulated with skincare ingredients to help strengthen your skin's barrier. With a newly expanded shade range of over 40 radiant shades to choose from and buildable all-day wear. NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. Find your perfect match.
I think I just won my taxes.
Yeah?
I just switched to H&R Block in about 1 minute. All I had to do was drag and drop last year's return into H&R Block, and bam, my information is automatically there.
So I don't have to go digging around for all my old papers to switch?
Nope.
Sounds like we just leveled up our tax game.
Switching to H&R Block is easy. Just drag and drop your last return. It's better with Block.
That telephoto lens is like almost bigger than she is. It's so comically large.
Touching Jake from the parking lot.
I feel like I'm being watched. Why? Because there's a lens on your shoulder? It sounds like that camera is like you take a photo and you can hear it click and echo across the valley. Are you hearing a giant shudder?
Yeah. But anyway, so it's school the next day. And Veronica Mars is walking to school, and Logan pulls up with all of his boys, and he starts bullying her again. And he bullies her about like her drunk mother and how where's your mom at? She used to be fun. And Duncan's there and he's like, leave her alone. And Logan's like, I'll leave her alone. Where's your mom though? She's still missing, huh? And then Duncan's like, I said, leave her alone. And then Logan's like, fine, whatever. I'm driving off in my bright yellow Nissan Xterra.
Yeah, Logan's like, hey, we're playing hooky going to the beach. Come, Duncan will take his shirt off for you. And then at the end, he's offering the flash. And at the end, he's like, oh, Veronica used to be fun. And I'm like, Logan did it. If he didn't do it, he knew who did it, or he roofied you. Kill him.
Yeah.
Like, what are we waiting for?
Kill him. Just kill him. He did it. Just kill him.
He's gonna do it to someone else. Like it's like he's a problem. Like get him out of the way.
Yeah, dude.
Like if it turns out to be him, I'll be like, okay, most obvious. I think it's gonna be. I think it might like be multiple people, or like somehow Duncan got forced. I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be some weirdness about it, and I hate that we're gonna have to like keep going back to that.
Yep. I think that you're absolutely right. There's going to be some kind of weird, like, Duncan, like, is watching this happen. And they're like, come on, man, you know it's cool. And he's like, oh.
Yeah, I just don't want to do it. I don't want to watch it.
Yeah.
I was all ready for some fun high school. I was like, someone's going to die or something's going to happen. But I was ready for some fun high school solving a case. Encyclopedia Brown type stuff.
Yeah.
Baby,
think again, Vance. Think again. But yeah, this is where Veronica reveals that she hasn't seen her mom in 8 months. Her mom just one day randomly, I don't know what happened. So you just talked about what happened earlier in another flashback. But yeah, her mom, she couldn't take the infamy, and she left Veronica with a note that said that she'd be back someday and a music box with a unicorn. And Veronica saw this in the flashback and just chucks it in the trash.
Yeah.
So
apparently, never mind. We'll talk about it later. But
yeah. So Veronica's eating lunch, and Wallace sits down to eat lunch with her. And Veronica's like, where the fuck are you sitting with me, you piece of shit? This is my table. Don't sit with me.
What's this table made out of, you think? Cedar? I was like,
yeah, I was
that
like,
table's
okay,
not wood.
I was about to tie Wallace up to the fucking pole again. Just fucking being annoying and weird.
Oh, man.
But, yeah, Veronica's like, why are you sitting with me? And Wallace is like, who else am I going to sit with? The people that tied me to the pole or the person that cut me down? And Veronica's like, all right.
Is there another option, though, too? I thought here's the thing, though. He's like the people that filmed me tied to the pole, which I don't blame. At first, I thought they had tied him to the pole, not the gang that I guess goes to the school, but we never see them in the school because we never see any of the gang members in the school except for when they go to that table.
Yeah.
But I thought the people in school had tied him up for snitching on something else. And then we had the flashback that was outside of school stuff.
Yeah.
If you see a guy tied up to a flagpole and you didn't do it, and it's the 2000s, and your phone has a 5-pixel camera on it, 5-megapixel camera on it.
0.5 megapixel.
I've been on record. I miss the times where everyone had different phones. I'm sorry. Yeah, I thought it was unique.
Those were good times.
You would see someone's phone and like, what is that? It was
cool. Like your zodiac sign.
Yeah.
What does your phone say about you? You got a Razor? You got a Sidekick? You got a LG chocolate?
Yeah.
What were you rocking with?
I had one of those Nokias that flipped open and had the full keyboard thing at one point.
Dude, the full keyboard was epic.
It was a little much, but they just kept coming out with new stuff.
I honestly missed the click of like typing. Like I got so good at typing without looking on my razor.
We've brought this up before on previous podcasts, as people will know. But in The Departed, you don't get that scene where he's texting in his pocket. You can't do that with an iPhone. But you can do that on the T9, that T9 predictive text or whatever. Or even if you don't have it, just hitting those numbers. So good at it. I do remember getting an iPhone after having that and then walking down the street and just being like, oh, I have to like look at my phone to type. This is bad. Because before I could just walk and type and then look later and be like, oh, it's all there.
Yeah. Yeah. There were times where I tried to do the typing without looking on my iPhone. What a mess.
Yeah. I can do it a little bit
better
now.
at it.
I can do it a little bit now, but it's still not the same thing. Yeah.
It's not, dude, the tactile nature of the like, I mean, it's literally made for blind people. Like they had the little Braille thing on the 5 button. You know how to navigate that. And you know how many times you need to click. Dude, I was so good at it in high school. And now I have to look at my iPhone. Yeah,
gross.
We talk about this like we can't just get a flip phone. We totally could be doing this.
This world.
But Wallace, he says to Veronica, he's like, "Hey man, I gotta let you know, a lot of people at this school have some real awful stuff to say about you." And Veronica's like, yeah. And he's like, I don't care though. And she's like, you're all right at Wallace.
Not to always relate this to Buffy. We won't do it that much, but it's just the thing that we're coming off of. We were never sure if Buffy was cool at high school or not. It was a very nebulous thing where people would be like, she's kind of a freak and weird, or they'd be hanging out with her or not. And you're just like, what's the vibe with her? Here, it is just so negative to Veronica Mars that I'm like, this is an uphill battle, man. It's real.
I'd be begging my dad every day, like, can I at least transfer schools? Can I go somewhere else?
You have a license to investigate in the state of California. Go somewhere else. Leave a note with that neighbor that we saw for one scene in case the mom comes back. Move to Temecula.
Yeah. There's other places in California, man, that are nice. Nicer anyway.
I mean, but I've never been to Neptune, but so.
Well, based on some of the locations that they're filming at, Neptune is San Diego. Because there's one point where Veronica's like sitting outside, parked her car, and I saw a place where I've performed stand-up comedy.
Oh my God.
I was like, oh, I've done stand-up there.
So Neptune's a hellhole, is what you're saying.
But anyway, Veronica's like, so you don't care about all the awful stuff that people are saying about me? And Wallace is like, no, of course not. And she's like, all right, well, do you want to get back at the biker gang? Or
get him off your back, yeah.
You want to get him off your back? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. So then Veronica meets up with this artist guy named Corny.
So now she has friends in school?
I mean, it's the same thing with her dad. Like, her dad still got buds. Some people are still loyal to him.
Yeah, like that's how VO worked. You go, yeah, no, my dad still has some friends.
Yeah.
Like, all right, sure.
So she goes to this guy, Corny, to do something for her. And he's like, no, totally. I can totally do it.
Anything for you, VM. I love you, VM. I'm the only person that likes you. Thanks for introducing me into the story.
Yeah. So then she goes to her own little private office at school, I guess. And she's like printing out pictures from the motel. She's like, I love printing out pictures. She got a whole like corkboard full of pictures.
Was this in the school or was this back home?
I thought this was
Is it back home? Yeah, because I think the dad.
Sense, yeah,
because the dad comes and she had put the picture up. Like it's a cut. Because this is, I wrote in my notes, this is where she says, photography is my hobby. And I'm like, okay. Like it's not not that she said it with such force and gusto, but it's a montage of her like pinning up the photos that she has, and then there's a song playing called "Weak Become Heroes" by The Streets, a British rapper that I know of from his song "Turn the Page," that me and my buddy used to like listen to a lot. So when I heard him rapping, I was like, "Wait, what? Oh, I know that," and I looked it up, and it was him. And I had to listen to the song "Turn the Page" because the beat on that is great.
Vance literally, like, I've listened to The Streets before as well, but Vance emailed me. He was like, "You gotta, this is on the soundtrack of this episode. It's so good."
Yeah.
It's a fucking banger. Dude.
Yeah.
That's one thing I will say about Veronica Mars so far, though, too. There is constant music.
Oh my God. Constant needle drops. It is of its time. If you watch any comedy movie of the early 2000s, the needle drops were there.
Yeah.
Just like pop.
Loads of music. But not in a bad way. We got The Streets.
Yeah.
We didn't get the theme song, which is the one song that I know about this. There's no theme song to this yet.
Yeah, that's what I literally looked up the theme song after this because I was like, because I watched this late and I was like, did I just miss the theme song? Because I was watching Dollhouse and I was like, oh, that's an interesting theme and intro. And I was like, wait, did I watch a Veronica Mars intro? I was like,
no, it's not. Okay. It's not in it.
Okay.
Because I know that song and I was waiting for it. And I was like, oh, man.
Yeah. I guess we'll talk about that when they do it on the show.
Yeah.
I have thoughts.
So, Veronica Mars then goes home. She's at home and doing her homework, and her dad comes home and he's like, "Guess what, baby? I got the guy, and we got paid. We got $2,500. So we're gonna celebrate. We're having steaks. We're not just having macaroni and cheese tonight. We're eating good tonight, baby." And Veronica's like, "Hell yeah, dude! Like I'm real happy." I'm surprised that this didn't make your unquote because it kept coming up.
Oh man, this is yeah. It's no, the unquote would still stay Keith, the wizard. But this is
Keith.
This is
fucking
this is creepy.
Keith fucking loves saying to Veronica, "Who's your daddy?" And he does like a arms out, like head wiggle while he does it. And Veronica is even like, "Stop."
Yeah.
But not at the end of the episode.
They're doing some stick here and like dancing. And it's like this, he's hamming it up. And I was just like, I don't like it. Let's go back to being a little more medium level.
Morose.
Yeah. Like I don't want to be as dark as we went. But like, a little even. Yeah. Like I like their scene earlier when he's like, "Hey, don't go after him, bring back up." And there was like a playful banter.
I did like the reveal of him saying "bring back up."
Yeah, that was good.
And the dog's name is back up.
Yeah.
I did like that. Thought that was cute.
But boy, oh boy, is him happy and not a good look.
Yeah, I don't like "Who's your daddy?" I don't like that at all.
Yeah. And then they end up cooking steaks to the Blue Oyster Cult cowbell song.
Yeah. Well, it's because he comes in, he's like, "I used to be cool," and he talks about Blue Oyster Cult, and then we gotta get the needle drop.
Yeah.
Down, 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 down.
I don't have a cowbell here, so I can't do it.
Yeah. But they're having their steaks, and Veronica talks to Keith about how she followed Jake to the seedy motel room. She got some pictures of him, and she's got some license plates, and she got pictures of who he met up with, and maybe Keith can run them. And he sees the pictures, and he's like, "Good job, Veronica." "Oh shit. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? We're just dropping this case. Don't worry about it." And Veronica's like, "What? Why? I did investigation stuff." And Keith's like, "Yeah, it's just I don't want to get involved with this case anymore." And Veronica's like, "Why? You just took the job." And he's like, "I'm not doing it anymore. You stay away from the case. And I'm not winking this time. Don't bring back up. Stay away." And Veronica's like,
It was one of those things where like, this should have been your statement when you first left your daughter in the town where everyone hates her, and you're sending her after the guy who is the reason that you currently are in the position that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he didn't even bet. He was like, well, we got to take jobs there, but we can't be so picky. And I'm just like, you don't take that job. This seems like a setup. This seems like the roofie cup. Like, the guy's wife
family, for as good as investigators as they may be, they just love walking right into a trap.
It's just like, no way. Yeah. Especially if you think this guy, if he believes that this guy murdered someone his daughter's age, what?
His daughter's best friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a little logic hurdle for me to jump over for that stuff. But we'll see how
Veronica Mars. She's not bothered. She's got other cases to work on. So,
like finding out who roofied her. No.
No. She's got a stake outside of a strip club, Seventh Veil, because they've got an interesting way of keeping their liquor license. I'm going to get to the bottom of that with my fucking Nikon.
I got the Loretta Cancun case.
Yeah, dude, what a name.
I know. I was like, I got to see this person. And
I know. I would have expected her to have a fucking Chiquita banana shit on top of her head.
She was going to have some crazy lines, and they were going to go back. It's going to be some back and forth. I was just ready for that, man.
Me too, dude. So if you're just first listening to this and you don't know who I am, or people that just need a reminder from the Buffy, I am a burlesque performer, or I do burlesque shows. Loretta Cancun is an amazing burlesque name.
Yeah.
An amazing burlesque name. I fucking love that name, dude. It has so many good and we don't see her.
I know.
Like, I need Loretta Cancun.
And it's not like they're against doing like a stereotypical thing in this show.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm surprised the dude's name is Weevil, though. I could have swore his name would have been like Edgar or Jorge or some shit.
Isn't there some? Oh, that's the other. That's on Dollhouse where somebody goes like, I think they're like Hispanic, maybe Mexican or something.
Yeah.
And
you can learn more about that on patreon.com/boyswatchingbuffy, where we're covering Dollhouse. Anyway, so it's the next day at school. And Logan Eccles gets busted for having a bong in his locker during one of those random locker searches. And that's what we find out that Corny made for Veronica Mars to frame Logan. And Logan sees Veronica and Wallace like peering around the corner while he's getting investigated. And he's like, oh, I'm going to get you, Veronica Mars. I know you did this, you bitch. And the principal's like, yeah.
This drove me insane. Why Veronica Mars and Wallace are making this obvious.
Right.
Why are you making your enemies more enemy-ish? Like, what? Like, you can have him get in trouble. Like, you do not need to be here for this. Like, he does not need to see him do this for the plan that they're doing.
Yeah.
And Wallace to be like, oh no, like I'm about to get, I'm starting in another one and I'm the black guy.
Yeah.
like they don't like you because you're a woman and your family stuff, but like I'm now paired with you and I'm like, no, like he doesn't need to be friends with them. He just needs to be like separate. He just needs to be separate from them.
Wallace had no beef with Logan.
None, right? That's what I mean. Like no beef with Logan.
Now he does. Like he's just with Veronica and they're like winking at him like, na boo boo. And Logan's like, did you forget that I am the psycho here? I will fucking kill you.
Wallace started out because he was a snitch. It's why he got tied up. And now he is being not even just a snitch, but someone who frames someone.
And here's the thing about him being a snitch. He didn't even snitch.
I know. He hit the silent alarm, but then...
He hit the silent alarm, and then he was like, no, they're good.
Yeah. And then he pissed off the sheriff.
And then he got bullied by the cop.
Yeah, dude. And
Veronica even brings that up. She's like, way to go, you idiot. Like, you made enemies with the biker gang and the sheriff's department.
She's
What's fucking wrong with you?
She's like, let's just throw Logan into this mix. Let's throw let's throw like two of the richest families in town into this, in between Duncan and Logan. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm terrified of this show, man. I'm terrified. There's just bad vibes everywhere.
I just wanted a relaxing show to watch.
I thought it was going to be fun.
But I'm terrified for both of these people.
I'm so scared.
I'm so scared.
Wallace already got called basically the N-word in the show.
Oh, jeez.
God.
Yeah, but just don't make it obvious that you did it. There's no reason. I was so upset. Your dad was investigating Duncan's family, and they don't like you because of that. And now you're planting evidence.
On Duncan's best friend. Why is Duncan friends with this guy too? Like throughout the show too, like the episode, he's like, stop.
Yeah, we all have friends that we shouldn't be friends with.
You know what? I think I might be the Logan to you, Vance.
Vance just looks off and doesn't respond.
Anyway, so then Veronica and Wallace, they go to the sheriff's department, and I don't know what this is, but Wallace somehow uses a remote control to light evidence on fire.
Yes. So this was a little jump in their plan. I like the plan. The plan is fine, but it's a lot of things that have to go just right for this plan. So what's happening is they put the bong in Logan's locker. Mm-hmm. Somehow, instead of the principal just being like, oh, I'm going to take this to the office and putting it in like lost and found or locking it in his office, it somehow goes to the police station.
Yeah.
Which would not be the first step for like a bong being found in a high school. No way you're involving the sheriff's department because of this.
Yeah.
Right. So, but then it goes into the evidence locker in the sheriff's department. And then they use that little remote control plane remote thing that he has. Mm-hmm. Somehow he hooked it up to something that ignites something in the evidence locker room.
Bong.
Yeah, in the bong.
Well, that's what I was like. What is in the evidence locker room that
it was
he's
the bong
lighting on fire? Okay.
So somehow the bong goes from high school to the evidence. They're not prosecuting this guy. They wouldn't go into the evidence room. So we go there, and then we find out the receptionist is speaking German, which threw me off. The receptionist at the sheriff's office is speaking German, which is only set up for something later. And I was like, that is wild that she's speaking German. I was like, because we haven't seen the sheriff's office yet. So I'm like, what country are we in? And then Veronica Mars goes to the firefighter, the fire department, because the fire department gets called to the police station because of this little spark. Mm-hmm. Now, that spark would have to be huge to get the fire department to show up. So much so that they would have been destroying real case evidence if that was that big. So that's insane.
Dude, the whole evidence room is just all smoke, and it's on like murderers are getting set free because of this fire.
Yeah, this is like way too much. And if it was too small, you wouldn't call in the fire department. You would just fire extinguish it and be done with it. So it has it goes from like a bong found into a high school locker to the cops, to the fire department, to the mayor. Like, you might as well. It didn't go to the mayor. They just go to the firefighter. And that's when she had the voiceover like, my dad still has some friends in town. And apparently this firefighter made a switch of evidence when he went into that room.
So illegal.
So illegal.
I don't care how good of friends you are with Keith. Like, you're doing a illegal favor for his daughter. What kind of like...
You're risking it all, dude.
Right?
And for what? And did she tell you? What did she tell you? Oh, yeah, we got to get some kids off for like petty theft.
Yeah.
So give up your pension career by robbing the police station. And you know, firefighters don't always get along with cops too. They always have an issue.
Yeah, they gotta beat them in that softball game that they always play. Cops versus firefighter softball, legendary.
So then, so they switch up some evidence, and that's the last we find out. We don't see the payoff yet.
Yeah. And then Veronica, she gets this evidence, and she goes back to her place, and she calls the police department, and she's impersonating the like secretary of the sheriff's department. Her name is Inga, the German lady.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, hi, yeah. I need you to run a license plate number, yeah. And so they run this license plate number, and turns out that the car that Veronica, when she was taking pictures of licenses at the motel, she got the license. This is the license that she's running, and the car that was at the hotel was registered to Leanne Mars. Dun, dun, dun.
It'd be so funny if that wasn't her mom, but just some other person named Mars.
Yeah. Well, it'd be, I'm just like putting this, like they live in Neptune.
I just did it
Veronica Mars. Bet you Wallace's last name is Saturn or some bullshit.
Pluto. I'm not even joking. This is the moment too where I put it together. I'm looking at my note and I see Leanne Mars. I'm like, Mars, Neptune, Veronica Mars. Like, what's going on with the space theme?
Yeah.
Well, Mars is the blah, blah, blah planet, and Neptune is the, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's something.
There's something behind it. Anyway, so then Veronica asks Keith again, hey, so why are we dropping the Jake Kane case for real, though?
Besides the obvious reasons that we shouldn't be taking this case.
And Keith is like, he's lying to her. And he's like, I looked into it. It's just some kind of corporate espionage stuff. It's not anything that I'm really interested in. And we should just drop it. And Veronica, you should just drop it. And Veronica's like, okay. And then she, in her voiceover, is like, I get what my dad's doing. He's just trying to protect me. He's lying to me to protect me, which is what dad should do. And I get it. But I'm going to get to the fucking bottom of this case. So she goes to the sheriff's department and she's talking to Inga. And Inga's like, oh my God, Veronica, oh geez, oh yeah. It's been forever since I've seen you. I can't remember the last time I saw. Oh wait, I do. And we get a flashback to the roofie case where Veronica's talking to the sheriff. And she's like, yeah, I got roofied and I think that I was assaulted while I was roofied. And the sheriff is like, I don't give a fuck. Are you trying to get me to like prosecute people for rape? What? What do you think I am?
Oh, you guys like bringing down big families, don't you? Well, you don't have enough evidence. And I'm snarky and I'm leaning back and I guess I just took over this job and I'm just a small town douche. Like he is the worst person. Like
he's the absolute worst. What is just, there's no evidence. Who am I supposed to prosecute? Your family loves ruining people's lives. And Veronica's sitting there and she starts crying and he goes, you know what? You know what you need to do?
Oh, if I found out the show ended in a murder spree for Veronica Mars, I'd be like, yeah, dude, you pushed her too far.
You know what you need to do, Veronica Mars? You need to go see the wizard. You need to go get a backbone. What? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense at all in this context. She's like, hey, I was raped. I'm coming to the cops. He's like, you fucking coward. What? What is happening?
Oh, man, this...
God. And this guy is just like over the top.
I mean,
awful.
There's no gray. There's no gray area. Because the opening scene when he's like, you think he's going to say something real aggressively racist to Wallace. But I wasn't even sure which one. He was like, do I hate these Hispanic people or this black guy more? He's like, I just hate everything.
There was a little part of me when he says you need to see the wizard. I was like, are we going to get some KKK stuff? Because that's like what the Grand Wizard or whatever the leader of KKK sects is called.
Yeah.
But then it's a Wizard of Oz reference.
That comes
and then
back.
Like Veronica, when Wallace tells Veronica that story, she's like, for real? He said those words.
Yeah.
You need to see the wizard. I was like, okay, yeah, maybe Veronica's doubting him, but then we see this flashback, and like this is just this guy's like trademark move.
So it's
just to tell people to see the wizard.
No, I know you can just say, oh, Veronica Mars is like putting on her act as a coping mechanism. But when she hears the wizard thing from Wallace, that should have triggered her to a level of unbelievable depth.
Dude, just like
she should have got back up.
That like, like just the screen goes red.
Yeah, exactly. She should have had to get up from the table and be like, I'll be back. Like,
you just hear a
yeah. You just hear like, wait, he's still saying that stuff to people?
Dude,
I like
just catchphrases.
The rage that I feel for her. Like, I don't think I felt this for a character so much. Like, I want her to just ignite everything.
I mean, at least when he said it to Wallace, it kind of made sense because Wallace like backed down on like snitching. But what he says to Veronica, you need to see the wizard to get a backbone, makes no fucking sense in the context of what's happening.
None. Yeah, a backbone wouldn't have helped her when she was drugged.
Yeah.
And assaulted. Like,
I mean, I guess maybe he's trying to empower her to like go kill whoever did it herself. Because he's like,
he just slides a gun over and be like, oh, you're so good at solving cases. Are you jealous of my I'm not even an amateur sleuth yet. When did her dad teach her to be an investigator? Like after this?
I have no idea, dude. I have no idea.
Yeah, man. She is so far behind the 8 ball.
Yeah. I mean, I feel so bad for Veronica Mars, dude.
Yeah. And now she's partnered up with Wallace.
Yeah.
I need him. I need him to be stronger.
I mean, he needs to see the wizard. He's got to get some guts, dude.
The Wizard of Oz reference was just...
Dude, if this guy never says anything about the wizard again in the show, I'm gonna be so pissed.
Yo, this show's gonna be wild. This is gonna be a good show to podcast about because boy, oh boy, I'm like blown away. I just can't get over this world that has just been built. And I feel bad because this stuff happens to real people. Real people go to police. Like kids don't get like examined or actually run for DNA. Like they just don't take the cases seriously.
Yeah, and it's a shame.
Yeah,
that's like you said, that's why a lot of people like don't even bother reporting cases like that because like they don't get taken seriously. And even if they do, like it is very difficult to prove.
Yeah,
which sucks.
The evidence and like she has no like what is she? Like they're gonna investigate. They're gonna
drugged, dude.
Yeah, they're gonna ask her around. Everyone's gonna deny it. No one's gonna say anything. Like Duncan's all like quiet because he knows what happened. Probably like he's all just a mess, man.
Yeah. So then we go to the courthouse, and Veronica, the cop that told her to go to see the wizard to get a backbone, he's on the stand, and this is the case against the 2 biker gang kids that robbed Wallace's store.
He is fucking leaning on the like he is just like arm up, like yeah, whatever. I'm like just not professional at all in the courtroom.
I'm surprised his feet aren't kicked up on the stand. Like he's.
And judges don't play around. They got to that power thing. They treat the courtroom like no, you respect the court. Like even if the judge is a corrupt judge or a fair and balanced judge, what they should be, they're still like not letting anybody get away with anything like that comes across as disrespecting them. And he is just like snarky, chewing gum, arm up, like yeah, these guys. I caught them red-handed, and I was just like, wow, all right.
And the judge is like, well, you said that you have video evidence of the crime happening. Do you have that? And he's like, yep, let's play it. And they put a videotape into the VCR. And what plays is actually a video of one of the sheriff's officers meeting up with a lady of the night. And she starts sucking his dick.
Yeah. This is the outside of that Seventh Veil place.
Seventh Veil, yeah.
That we saw Veronica Mars filming out there with her little mini DV camera, it seemed.
Yeah.
But was smart enough to know that the security camera at the convenience store uses a VHS tape. So she was able to put it on the VHS tape, give that evidence to the firefighter in the exact same manila envelope somehow. That, or maybe he opened that envelope and then put that tape in. There's a lot of stuff going on.
There's
a lot that has to go on just perfectly. But yeah, then the judge is like,
Sheriff, is this one of your officers? Is this how you conduct your department? And then the lawyer from earlier that gave Veronica the Seventh Veil case, like, swings around and he looks at Veronica and he winks at her. Veronica looks at the sheriff and she winks at him and like gives him like a finger gun.
What the fuck are you doing? Stop letting people know that you're doing these things. Stop. They don't like you. He is the sheriff. He's going to put drugs in your trunk of your car and arrest you.
This sheriff is already crooked as fuck.
Right? I mean, we haven't, besides the assault thing that he didn't care about, we haven't seen him do anything overly like corrupt, except for the cops that he works for are getting BJs to overlook stuff. So yeah, he's corrupt. He doesn't give a shit. Yeah. So here's the thing. Stop. You don't have to sign the things that you do, Veronica Mars. You don't have to let Logan know that you planted something in his locker. It doesn't help your plan at all. It just makes him upset with you. You do not need to go to the sheriff and be like, hey, guess what? I committed an evidence tampering crime.
Dude.
Like,
right?
She winked and finger gunned him.
Yeah.
I'm afraid for this girl's life.
Dude, she is flying she's like on the sun's surface.
Yeah.
That's how close to the sun she's flying, dude.
My God.
But yeah. And then everybody's upset. But what does Veronica Mars do? She goes to the beach. She doesn't have a care in the world.
She goes
the
into
cops
the
are
open.
against. Bro, for as much as she's talking to Wallace about like, way to go, idiot, you got a biker gang and the cops against you, like by the end of this episode,
she can't even trust her dad right now.
Yeah. But she sees Wallace flying his little dinky plane and she gives him the video from the liquor store when he snitched. And Wallace, this is where we get the thing. We heard about this.
Yep.
We heard about this. Wallace calls her a marshmallow. And I'm sure that you wrote down exactly what he said.
I didn't write all of it down, but he did say, you're not as, you try to be like you're tough, but you're not that tough or something. And then he's like, you're marshmallow, Veronica Mars, a Twinkie. Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right. I don't know if I felt like she was like hard edged at all. Really, I don't know that much about her. I know she's definitely had to put up a tougher exterior.
Absolutely.
But I mean, that coping is rough. Because they talked about when the mom was saying, I want to leave town. In her voiceover, she was like, I'm not going to leave town either. My dad didn't want to leave town, and I didn't want to give up on town. I'm like, you're only like 16 and your best friend was murdered. Like, you don't have a lot, and your boyfriend doesn't like you.
It's not like you invested in property here. Or
like, I was like, what do you guys have invested in this town? Your mom left it? Like,
yeah. So, yeah, he calls her a marshmallow because she's soft on the inside. She's squishy.
Not anything I was questioning about her, but apparently this is what the fans of the show are called, marshmallows.
Yeah.
Marshmallows.
But then Wallace is like, oh, wait a second, Veronica, look at your car.
You know
about your car.
You know, all those people you were winking and finger gunsing at, they're all just gathered around your car.
Yeah. So Logan and his crew of white boys, they're gathered around Veronica's car, and he's got a fucking gigantic pipe.
It's a tire iron.
Yeah, he's got a lead tire iron. And Veronica goes up to him, and she's just snarking in his face. This guy's got a fucking lead pipe. And she's she's like, what are you doing here, bucko? And he's like, oh, that was a pretty funny stunt you pulled with that bong. You know what it cost me? And Veronica says something snarky here. I forget what it is.
Yeah, I don't remember what it cost him, but like he might have to go to court if they were taking it to evidence.
Yeah, but he goes, no, idiot. It cost me my car. I was having fun. But now Daddy took my T-Bird away. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take your car away. And he starts smashing up her car with the pipe.
Mm-hmm. Broad daylight, we should tell everyone.
Broad daylight, yes.
This is broad daylight. This is
witnesses everywhere.
Yeah, this is everyone on the beach. It's a full, I mean, who knows what day it is, but yeah.
Yeah. He's smashing up her car. He breaks her headlights with the pipe. And then as he's doing this, the motorcycle gang shows up. And I was like, what the hell? Is Veronica Mars going to get killed in that pilot? Like,
well, I knew they were showing up and they were going to be the saviors because of what just happened. She got those people off. But she has the confidence that everything's going to work out, even though she doesn't know that they're coming.
Yeah. But yeah, they show up. Weevil gets off his bike and he goes up to Logan. And he's messing with Logan. He's like, why are you fucking with her car? I don't like you. You shouldn't be messing with Veronica Mars. And then the biker gang starts bullying Logan and the white boy gang. Mm-hmm. And they smash up their car, mm-hmm. which is a panel van now all of a sudden.
He got his car taken away. That's the point. Logan doesn't have a show car.
Right, the Nissan. Yeah,
so he's driving his other friend's car, and it looked like a SUV, like another type of SUV thing.
Yeah. So they smash up that SUV van type thing. And then Veronica's like, all right, chill. And then Weevil starts beating up Logan, like punching him in the face. And he's like, you're going to say sorry to Veronica Mars. And Logan's like, no, I'm not. Gets decked in the face. Mm-hmm. And he goes, I said, you're going to say sorry to Veronica Mars. And then Logan's like, nah, punches him in the gut.
He says, if you know what Weevil looked like, he goes, rub a bottle, like making a genie reference to him or something.
Yeah.
And he keeps just getting decked in the face. Weevil is a good 5 inches shorter than him.
Yeah.
But he does have the backing of the gang. I did love that they go into the car and they start ripping the O-Town CD.
Yeah, dude. O-Town. They were big.
That's a white song. That's a white boy classic.
Yeah. Got a little bit mad as well style. With a Janet Jackson smile. Janet Jackson's.
You are such a Logan.
Like Jennifer. You got the star of my liquid dreams. My liquid dreams. Met those guys in Disney World.
I did not listen to O-Town.
Yep. Well, they were fucking. I think they were part of that reality show, Making the Band, which I think Diddy was a part of.
They were a part of that.
Yeah, that's how they came to be.
Oh wow.
And Diddy is in some hot water.
I thought Making the Band was just like individuals, and he was turning them into that band.
Well, it was like
because
everybody was auditioning to be in the new boy band, and O-Town was that boy band.
Oh, really?
From the original Making the Band, yeah. I think they did a second one
because I don't remember there being a lot of white singers on the Making the Band show.
I guarantee,
because I remember Chappelle did the whole like sketch of it. It was like Dylon. Yeah, I don't think you're. I know that O-Town was a part of maybe
some kind of reality show that brought them together. Yeah, they were part of Making the Band in 2000. First season of Making the Band. But then Making the Band had a sequel that made like an R&B group that was kind of like Boyz II Men.
That's the Diddy one I think of, probably.
Yeah, it spawned, Making the Band spawned O-Town, Da Band, Danity Kane, Day 26, and Donnie Klang. But the first iteration featured O-Town. And yeah, all seasons of Making the Band were overseen by Diddy, acting as the man of the house who makes the final decision on who will be in the band.
Okay, so like it was like the 2004 Dylon. That's the one I'm thinking of. So yeah, I'm thinking of the later season stuff. But yeah, that's a little history lesson of Making a Band.
But After Weevil decks Logan quite a few times, Veronica calls him off. She's like, hey, look, stop. I don't want his apology. I just, it's kind of nice to see him get punched a couple times.
You should, you know what? While you have him here, ask him some more questions.
Yeah, Weevil.
Yeah, ask him what happened on the night of, I forget that, I don't know the date, but just, you should be getting to the bottom of that. Yeah, yeah.
So Logan and his little O-Town crew, they leave. And then Weevil tells Veronica, like, I got a uncle that can fix up your body, your car body, and you can always hit up me to fix up your body. And Veronica's like, stop.
Yeah.
And she's like, you apologize to me now. And she's like, all right, I'm sorry. And she goes, now apologize to Wallace. He's like, all right, I'm sorry, Wallace. And now it seems like Weevil's cool with Veronica Mars.
Well,
and Wallace.
He says that Wallace has the tape now. That is the only thing that keeping those two cronies of his out of jail.
Yeah.
And then he goes like, can I get it back? And then Wallace goes, nope. And then laughs and chuckles. And then they get into Veronica Mars's like beat up headlightless car that the sheriff is going to pull her over with immediately.
Yep.
And plant some evidence, and then she's going to go to jail for the rest of her life.
I mean, I thought the Weevil would have decked Wallace here and just taken the tape.
Right? You just were beating up you just in public were just smashing up a car and beating up a dude on the beach in broad daylight. And now a guy is like, hey, in my backpack, it's the only thing you need. And it's on a fragile VHS tape. Do you want to like rip that from me and just stomp my bag down? Nope.
I was going to say, just push him. He lands on his backpack.
Yeah.
That's the end of that evidence.
Yeah. Where's his plane? Did he just leave his plane in the air?
Dude, it was so funny seeing that plane like hit the sand and just die out. Because that happened in the episode. And I was like, ooh.
Yeah, because he's like, it's like one of those romantic scenes where he's behind Veronica Mars and they're both using the controller together, flying the plane.
Yeah, that was weird.
Do you think they're just going to be friends, or do you think they're going to like cross over?
I think they're just going to be friends.
I do too.
There might be a little like romantic, like will they, won't they? And I think ultimately they won't they.
I'm with you with the won't they.
Yeah. I don't know if
I'm still waiting for the rest of the cast. I'm waiting for the rest of the cast to like fill out. I don't feel like she has her team yet.
Yeah, I don't know because I feel like when I've seen posters, there are like a couple other people in it. So I don't know who's going to ultimately be part of the crew.
Right now, it's just Corny.
Yeah, and he was in one fucking scene. And he seems like a stoner. He's like, yeah.
He also walks past like, good job, Veronica Mars, framing that guy. Can the principal hear me say that? The vice principal didn't hear me say that. I love that it's always the vice principal too. It's never the like principal sometimes. Like Buffy is the principal. Here it's the vice principal. And he has 0 character traits in this episode. Yeah.
He's just a hard ass. I'm investigating.
I open lockers. That's the only goal he has in this.
Yeah. But then Veronica drives to Keith's office, and this is where I'd recognize there's a coffee place, I think, in the background called Les Stats. And I was like, I recognize you're right above where I have done stand-up comedy in San Diego. There's great shows called Comedy Heights. They're all clean. You have to be like TV clean, like PG-13. Mm-hmm. So if you want to have a good old rip-roaring good stand-up comedy time, look up Comedy Heights in San Diego if you're around, because they're great shows, and I think that they're free. So yeah, check that out.
Joe used to do stand-up at Room before becoming a burlesque.
I got a half-hour special. Got a half-hour special on YouTube that you can just check out. Just YouTube my name. Vance was there. You can see Vance in the crowd.
Mm-hmm. And a friend of the podcast.
Yeah, friend of the podcast, Johnny Walsh. Anyway, so she's there and she sees Keith in the office and she's like, I knew he wasn't going to go home. So then she goes into the office after Keith leaves. She breaks into his safe because she knows the code to break into his safe, and she goes through his case files and she realizes that Keith is still investigating the Lily Kane murder. Like all of his notes are from like less than a month ago. He put like the pictures that Veronica took of Jake Kane at the seedy motel in this, and she's like, why is he doing that? How is this all tying together?
My note just says she asks a bunch of questions to herself.
Yeah. Because she realizes that her dad still doesn't think that the guy that got arrested for killing Lily didn't do it. And Keith is still investigating it, and her mom is involved somehow. And then Keith comes back after she puts all the evidence away, and he's like, I saw the light on here. I knew that you couldn't stay away from investigating stuff. Let's go have some family fun. I rented the South Park movie, and Veronica's like, that's my favorite fucking movie.
So funny, especially imagining them watching the part where all the fake dicks come out.
Yeah,
but then just watching the South Park movie again, such a time specific reference.
Yeah,
South Park's still doing it.
They're having a good old fashioned family fun night. You can't have a good old fashioned family fun night without asking, "Who's your daddy?" And then Veronica going, "You are."
Gross, dude. It just doesn't hit the ear right.
Yeah, it sounds awful. But Veronica gets up to leave, and then Keith notices that Veronica has been futzing with the unicorn music box that her mom left her, and he sees it and he's like, huh, interesting. I thought she threw this away.
I don't know if he thought she threw it away, because I don't know if in the flashback she sees it and then she throws it in the trash.
Yeah.
And that was months ago. So apparently she had a change of heart before trash day to take that out. Right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm not a fan of the mom, even if she comes back.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of anyone really in the show so far.
I'm not rooting for her mom. The only thing I know about her mom is that she had a birthday cake for her once.
Everyone in this show so far is terrible, except for maybe Keith.
Hey, here's the question. When she's walking home that time, it looks like they live in an apartment building kind of thing, right? Yeah. And it was a pool there.
Yeah.
As you have in, California places. When she was walking, she was having a flashback of her parents, her mom giving her a cake there and her boyfriend in that pool. Yeah. I don't think they lived there when he was still sheriff.
When she was walking back after the party, when she wakes up, and it looks like she has a lawn and there's a garage, a driveway. It looked like a different house.
Yeah. But in the flashback, when she's going home, or when she's going home from school and she has a flashback, she has a memory that seems like it's filmed at the hotel, maybe where she is. And I guess she could just be like, I remember. It was a weird flashback that she had.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's going to be some stuff that, unfolds as the show continues and yada, yada, yada.
But that flashback, some of these
flashbacks aren't adding up.
That flashback made it seem like she was having an hallucination as opposed to her voiceover flashback of what happened. That felt like a hallucination trip.
Absolutely. Yeah, because the flashbacks are seen in regular color, but her hallucination at the pool where her mom has the birthday cake, it has this blue hue to it.
Yeah, and then it was
dreamy and
then the neighbor snaps her out of it. And it happened so early in the show that I'm like, is this stuff that's going to keep happening?
Yeah.
But that's really the only one that stands out like that. The other flashbacks are more story oriented, it seems.
Yeah. But so then Veronica Mars, the reason why she kept the unicorn box, the music box, is she goes to the motel room where she saw Jake, and she's like, well, this is a long shot, but let me see. She knocks on the door where he met her mom, potentially. And her voiceover is like, I don't care what it takes. I am committed to bringing my family back together again. And that was where I was like, oh, poor Veronica Mars, dude.
Yeah, I was like, wait, that's your goal?
Yeah, I was like, oh no, honey, no. This is too much has happened.
This I need her to be 8 years old or something.
Yeah.
Because she says, I want to find out what broke my family up and put it back together. And I'm like, I think you I think you know what broke your family up. Like, you live it every day at high school. Like, you live it every day when you go to your dad's investigative office and you see that he's not the sheriff of the town. You like, you know what I mean?
This just felt like I felt so bad for her when it said, like, I'm going to try and get my family back together. I was like, oh, no.
And I'm like, I don't want your mom back. She left you.
Yeah.
And she didn't, like, sit down and talk and be like, hey, your dad and I can't stay in this town. Your dad wants to stick around. If you want to stay, I understand. I'll come. Like, she can come visit. Like, you can go see her. She can go to a different town and you could go stay. Like, she can. I completely get the mom saying, I'm going to get out of here. But it's not your daughter's fault. Right? Unless the story unravels and she has something to do with some stuff and she was having an affair with Jake and, like, she was there and then the daughter found out and she ran away and slipped and fell and hurt her head and then they had to cover some stuff up. Sure. If that's all the stuff, then it makes sense. But from what I know...
What if everything turns out exactly how you just, like, that rambled, like, yeah, she probably... Blah, 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 and everything turns out exactly...
If that's because I've watched too much TV in my life. But it's just, she could still see her daughter.
I just think, like, I know that Veronica Mars has been through a lot already. Like, the infamy of her family, like, getting roofied and just, like, all this crazy shit. I like the naivete of just, like, I'm going to get my family back together, and the innocence of that. It just hurt me in the soul, like, to hear.
My question would be, did the mom leave before the assault or after the assault? Like, I just, there's a couple, like, little order of
I would assume
events.
Well, does the dad get, I guess the dad gets ousted.
Mm-hmm. The mom was still there.
Sheriff.
I mean, the election probably happened after that. They found that other guy, you know, when they were all on the couch and they see the news story about it.
Yeah.
He was still technically sheriff then.
But
and then after that
is before the assault, Veronica Mars' assault. Because when Veronica goes to the sheriff's department, it's the new sheriff guy. So Keith isn't.
No. So that moment is there, but the mom hasn't left yet either. The mom is still
I feel
in
like
that.
The mom may have left.
It would happen. It would be sometime in between because the dad just argued with the mom and then came into the living room and said, we're going to work things out. And then the news story drops. And then she's like, oh, there was a recall. There was an election and got rid of him. So in between that, he wasn't the sheriff. The mom had left before I think the mom had left before the assault because she didn't say, I didn't tell my mom about it. She said, I didn't tell my dad about it.
Yeah. I think the mom had already left.
Now, if the mom had already left, I'm thinking, I don't know. For me, I'm just like, I want this investigator to be on a warpath to figure out what happened to her.
Yeah.
And your mom leaving, you know what? Screw her for, like, leaving. And it seems like she was like, I want to stay in the town too. Like, Veronica says she wants to stay here, which I don't understand.
Yeah. I would not want to stay there, dude.
No. But if I was staying there, I would be staying there to solve the case of what happened to me. Not just to be like, hey, some random guy came in and said, hey, someone's stealing my my newspaper. Find out who. Like, no, I'm not sticking around for that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But that is the pilot. You got anything else to say about this pilot here, Vance? I said,
I feel so bad for Veronica Mars.
I know. I thought that I felt bad for Buffy, but Buffy at least had superpowers, like you said.
Yeah.
Like, God, so this is the pilot, dude. Like, this is one episode in. Veronica Mars' life is awful.
Yeah. I really thought it'd be I thought it would get to, like, some dark stuff or, like, they're solving a murder and then you have to, like, at the end of the first episode, someone dies and she's doing a little case and it turns into, like, a bigger
Yeah.
But now
who threw the paper airplane in class?
But she's got a dead best friend.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Dead best friend, dumped by her boyfriend, roofied and assaulted. Dad is, like, infamous, ousted from his position in town.
they talk about being dumped by the boyfriend. Like, that would be so far off my radar.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why he did that. I don't know how I'm going to get my mom back with my dad. That's her goal at the end of this episode?
Yeah. Oof.
She left you.
Anyway. Yeah, dude. She abandoned you in your dad and your time of need.
And left an adult, like a way too old girl, a unicorn music box.
Yeah.
That has no...
15, 16 years old.
Is there something symbolic about the unicorn? Is there like a key in there or something? I don't know.
Yeah, she lifts up the unicorn. It's just evidence.
Yeah. Yes. It's a VHS
condom.
Tape. It's a VHS tape shoved in there.
Used condom from when she banged Jake or something. Or the evidence of what happened to Veronica at the party or some crazy shit. I don't know, man. I feel bad for Veronica Mars.
Oh boy. Yeah, man. This was a lot.
Yep. Next episode is titled Credit Where Credit's Due. I
think Wallace does something impressive.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is going to move away from the darkness, oddly enough.
Yeah, pilots, they really loaded this pilot up.
Yeah, I think that we're going to get a little bit of a breath away from they just dumped a bunch of darkness in our lap. And now they're like, all right, this episode is going to be a lot lighter. This is going to be a, like you thought,
episode of, it's going to be like an episode of a week kind of thing.
Yeah,
like there's going to be some simple case that they have to solve and a little overarching, but like mostly
a little lingering in the background. Mm-hmm. What's my mom doing with Jake, Kane? Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen in this next episode. It can't just be the people. They cannot go full throttle with this darkness.
The people in the town and that school will never like her. There's no coming back from that. Unless they bring this guy down and they validate it at the end of the season.
I think in the next episode, Weevil is going to become like part of the gang. He's going to like want to get in on some of the investigation action, and Veronica's going to be like skeptical at first, and then she's going to like eventually allow him to do something. And he does it well, and then credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is the pilot, everybody.
Yeah, this is a long episode. So.
This is a long one. But again, a lot going on here.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Hop on Discord. Let us know what you thought about the episode. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/boyswatchingbuffy, where we're starting Dollhouse. And like also the backlog of all the Angel episodes. Also, Boys Watching Movies. Dr. Horrible Sing-Along blog. That's brand spanking new.
And also Joe's fashion report /corner, where he did a video series where he analyzed some of the clothing and outfit and wardrobe choices of Buffy the Vampire Slayer from season 3 or season 4 4 on.
I think it's I'm pretty sure it's 5 on.
5? I thought it was when we started Angel.
2 seasons of me breaking down the fashion of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And
maybe a cameo by your boy Vance. Yeah.
Couple cameos.
And in the show notes, Amazon wish list, I got a Switch finally, but I don't have any games for it, and I threw some games on that Amazon wish list.
I also have a Switch. There are some games in there for old Joey Boy.
Yeah, so you don't know. You could, and there's some other stuff,
Yeah, there's some books that Vance reads because I don't read. Which, if you're new to the podcast, you will find out.
You could have probably already guessed
that. So we got that. We got merch. We need to get some more merch, I guess.
Yeah.
We got to start doing some more merch.
We have an Instagram at Boys Watching Buffy. We have a TikTok at Boys Watching Buffy. And we might have, we're still early on. We don't know if we're going to make a separate one for Veronica Mars yet. But right now, you can kind of follow us on those.
Yeah, we don't know about TikTok either, if it's banned or if it's
you can't.
It's still around.
It's around.
You can't download it if you didn't have it already.
Oh, you can't download it?
It's not in the app. Yeah, it's not in the app stores anymore, I think. But if you already had it, you're good. But I think it might go away still.
Yeah, because that's the problem. That's the thing that's been ruining the country is
Yeah, dude. Yeah, what a time capsule for people listening to this like 5 years from now. They're like, oh God, TikTok. We've already moved on to something else.
Everyone in their bunkers that are listening to Veronica Mars podcast.
Hey, to escape from the nuclear, awful like radiation. 2025 has fucked everybody.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's that. Patreon.com/boys watching Buffy. If you want to get a shout out, I forgot to mention this. We do shout outs for people that give 5-star rating and reviews on Apple Podcasts or 5-star rating on Spotify. But you need to take a screenshot of the 5-star rating on Spotify because there's no way that we can see it unless you take a screenshot of that. Send it in to us. I think that's it.
Yeah, join the Discord, link in the show notes, and just, let us know. We're going to be chatting about this pilot all week. We're going to be chatting about it. No spoilers, obviously, but unless you're in the spoiler chat. But yeah, hop on here. Let us know. Especially, we have a lot of people also who are watching this for the first time. Some listeners that have come over. So curious to see what they think also.
Yeah, I wonder what they think of the horrors of her. I mean, that was a good, what's worse, Neptune or Sunnydale? I mean... We've seen one episode and it's like, oh, it's debatable. There's fucking vampires in Sunnydale.
What's a more adult show, Veronica Mars or Angel?
Good God. But anyway, stay tuned next time for when we talk about credit where credit's due.
You really think I'm gonna let you get away with that? That might play with the masses. But underneath that angry young woman's shell, there's a slightly less angry young woman who's just dying to bake me something. You're a marshmallow, Veronica Mars? A Twinkie.
Seltzer Kings.
Podcasts.